And we are live. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, powerful souls. I am welcoming you to Wake Up Wednesday Live with me, the host of the Laurie Majka YouTube channel. And I am Laurie Majka, and welcome. If you saw the very beginning of that intro where it had the time that this is going to start. Oh, this is my puppy Blaze. She just heard me talking, so I guess she decided she wanted to join in on the fun. But if you joined and you saw that very beginning where I had the Wake Up Wednesday and did it do the countdown? Did it do my intro? I tried something new this week and I just wanted to see if that happened. I'm getting, what's one like? Tell me in the comments. Hello, everybody, somebody says. So, okay, Blaze, down, 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 down. Okay, well, what I'm going to do today is I want to start off by sharing some synchronicities that I have had in the last week. One of the most popular videos on my channel really early on was one that I did in my series of videos called Uncover Your Soul's Purpose. What you don't know is holding you back. And while I'm talking, while I'm sharing these, please feel free to start asking questions that you want to have answers to in the comments. I'm going to take a look at those pretty soon. So jump on in, ask me anything that you want to ask me. It can be about spiritual stuff. It can be about other things, about any of the videos that I have going on. But in any case, I decided I'd start today just by sharing these synchronicities. And that one of the most popular videos on my channel was the one I did about the signs. And the way that signs work for me is spirit talks to me in multiple different ways, but a lot of times it's through music and it is through license plates. It is through weird, crazy connections that I can't shove off in my mind as a coincidence, like something beyond coincidence, because maybe it's two separate things coming together that shouldn't exist at the same time. So I'll explain a couple of them. The first one is just kind of a funny one, I think. So I usually hike in the morning. I hike almost every single day without exception, 365 days a year. And this particular morning, I do have a corporate job and I was working in the morning on an early morning call and I couldn't do my normal morning hike. And I was forced to bump it to the end of the day, which is dangerous because, you know, sometimes you just don't wind up doing them. But in any case, I finished my hike and I needed to talk to my parents. So I called my mom and my mom said, "Oh my gosh, I just got out from under the red light. Give me a second." And she's like, "You always call when I'm finishing my red light." And as she said that last sentence, I passed a car that had its headlights on. And so it had two red lights on both sides and the license plate said heat. HEAT. Like, what are the chances that I would see a license plate at that exact moment as my mom says she came out of the red light? So just fun synchronicities. The other one that happened was quite a bit more significant, and this involved the two videos that I released this week. So if you had a chance to check out the two new NDEs for this week, I usually release a full length video on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then I release shorts on all the other days. And Andrew Bauer was my guest. And the reason I had Andrew on my show is because I had interviewed my friend who I met at the IONS conference last summer, Ned Matinea, and he has a Facebook group that has over 200,000 or 300,000 NDE members in it, who are people who have had NDEs, and 600,000 total members. And when I asked him of all these NDEs that he's heard, what are some of his standouts? His number one favorite NDE was a man who moderates on his NDE channel named Andrew Bauer. So I reached out to Andrew and scheduled an interview with him on the 14th of January. Now, I have a full-time corporate job, and I do on occasion schedule an interview during my lunch hour. Most of them I do after hours, but that's kind of hard for some people to manage when they're in the East Coast and I'm in the Pacific time zone or the Mountain time zone. So I try to do an earlier interview to accommodate people and to accommodate people overseas. So Andrew took this slot. And then the day before, he gets sick and he cancels it. And the human me is like, this stinks because I need these interviews. I have this commitment and I need enough time to edit them to get them on my channel. So it's always difficult when somebody cancels an interview. But my higher self is like, whoa, 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 these things happen in divine timing. So fast forward, Andrew reschedules and I interview him last week on the 22nd of January. And he comes on and begins telling his first NDE, which is super, super detailed. And a lot of times when I have people on the channel who have had multiple NDEs, one or two of them are really relatively short. And then there's one that's usually a bigger experience. And most of my interviews last somewhere between an hour and an hour and a half, but a lot of them seem to run right about an hour and 15 minutes. Andrew's first NDE, he talked for 50 minutes straight. I never said a word, just describing his first NDE. And then he went on to have an even more detailed second NDE. If you have not checked these out yet, they're really incredible. And the second one just got released today. It's taking off nicely. That NDE was over 2 hours long. I wound up being on the phone with him on our interview call for 3 hours and 30 minutes. So the divine timing kicks in because had I been scheduled during my lunch hour, I would not have been able to go over an hour and 15 minutes. There's no way I wouldn't have been able to do it. So Spirit knew. They kicked us off. They put us at a time where we could actually do this full interview, which was wonderful. Awesome. So excited about it. But the other cool synchronicity happened because when I originally had him scheduled and then I had canceled him, in between those two dates, I decided to book a trip in 2027 to go hike the Mont Blanc. And if you don't know what this is, it's this epic hike, 110 miles through France, Switzerland, and Italy. And I'm going to do it in 2027. I'm really excited about it. And I started planning it and I use AI a lot. And so I'm on ChatGPT and I'm going through and I'm really exploring Switzerland because I was super, super interested in Switzerland. And I lost track of time. And all of a sudden I looked at my watch and I was like, oh my God, I've got to be camera ready in 5 minutes. So I ran off, I get on, and Andrew's first interview, he shares that he had this unusual experience on the other side where they showed him some past lives so he could understand what a perfect life looked like and what a not so perfect life looked like. And his perfect life in his series of incarnations that he's had on the earth included one where he lived in Switzerland and sat in this mountain home looking at the Matterhorn, which was the last conversation I had with ChatGPT before I ran to get camera ready. So I love these kinds of synchronicities. If you guys have synchronicities, feel free to share them in the comments because I always say to people, your synchronicities confirm mine confirm yours, because I know not everybody can buy into this and it's harder to understand or get it when it's somebody else's. But when you have one and it really hits you like right here and you know that it was a synchronicity, then, it's really, really fun when somebody else acknowledges that and shares theirs because I just feel like we confirm each other. So anyway, all right, I'm going to take a look at the comments right now. And let's see what's going on in the comments. So Maria says, hello, everyone. Hello, Maria. Thank you for joining. Okay. And Samuel Tucker, weird, glitchy sound, and now none of something. Okay. Oh, it's okay now. Okay. I don't know what happened. So good. I'm glad it's not glitchy anymore. It's funny. I noticed the last three, this is my fourth week of doing a live. The first week shouldn't count because I didn't know I had to make these public in order to go live at the same time. So I talked for 45 minutes to nobody. So that was kind of fun. But I seem to be glitchy, like where I feel like I'm in a Japanese movie. My mouth does not match my sound coming out of it when I first start these. So I don't know. It might have just been glitchy. So hi from Paula from Little Rock. Hello. Thank you so much for joining. So this is about you guys. I love to share some of my stories. I've got a bazillion stories. I could talk for 2 hours straight without interruption, but I want to hear from you. What do you want to know? What are the burning questions that you're trying to get answers for right now? Where are you in your spiritual journey? What has been going on? What is kind of plaguing you? Is there a certain thing, like one of the concepts I talk about all the time is that everything is happening for you and not to you? Does that catch you off guard? Do you not believe in reincarnation yet? You're not quite sure about that. Like, where are you? What do you want to know? Because when you share your questions, I'm guarantee somebody, if it's not right now, in the future, watching these as they play them back later, these lives will be posted under my live tab. So if you want to go back and look at some of the past ones, feel free to check those out. But okay, let's see. Rut said, "Hi, Paula from Little Water." Okay, we've got a bunch of people clapping. This is so nice. All right, so I'm waiting for some questions in the comments, but of course, I've always got a few things written down, so I will share another synchronicity. Okay, let's see. Somebody else said, "Appreciate the conversation on signs and synchronicities. I pray every day for both." Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, I actually write my signs and synchronicities down. Maybe I'll just tell a quick story about the book that I wrote called Science Around You, Love Never Dies. How many of you know that I wrote a book? I don't really talk about it a whole lot. I don't advertise it a whole bunch, but it was a super, super important book for me. My journey was really sped up in 2012 when I lost my closest soulmate, Mark Abrahamian. He was the lead guitarist of the band Starship. And so, of course, after he died, I was bombarded with the song Miracles, with my music being frozen on my XM radio. And every time one of these amazing signs would happen, you kind of think to yourself, wow, this is so incredible. I'm never going to forget it. Not only is that not true, because most of the time we don't remember things exactly as they happened when they happened, but sometimes we pull memories out, remember them, and then put them back in, maybe not the exact same way we pulled them out. And over time, they get skewed. So as Mark had died and started sending me signs, they were really important to me. And I got a notebook and I would, as close to the sign happening as I could, sit down and write in every detail I could, everything about the sign so that I would never misremember it or forget it. And that's a best practice that I would recommend for anybody who really wants to connect and hold on to their signs and go back and just see how incredible the other side is with getting messages to you. But in any case, that book that I wrote, Mark sends me so many music signs. And while I was writing the book, I would get a whole bunch of signs. Like I was traveling a lot at the time. I would land at an airport and I would drive to a parking garage and a Starship song would be playing like as I'm walking through the parking garage, or I named every single title in the book after a song, and I would be at a random store working on this particular channel and that chapter with that song name, and that song would begin playing at some store that I was in. It was uncanny how much it happened. But I did release that book. It's the story, the first part's the story of Mark and I. So you understand then how the signs really worked. And the second half is all the signs that happened in the first 2 years after he died. And kind of the crazy part about it is shortly after the 2-year anniversary of his death, I had filled up an entire notebook. The last sign that filled it up happened on the anniversary of his second year after he died. And he came to me in a dream and told me he was most proud of our story. And the next day, that book began to write itself. I would get a download and I would just get it, on my computer and begin just typing what was in my head. Like if I was helping my kids on their homework and I was helping them to write something and I said, "Oh, say this." And they were like, "What did you say?" Like 3 minutes later, I wouldn't remember it. But these downloads would sit in my head and it would almost be like they were just feeding you like a song, and I would just type it out. So this book was definitely divinely orchestrated and I had help from the other side. So anyway, I'm super, super proud of it. I put a lot of time and effort and attention into it. One of the things I didn't know when I wrote the book was that when you quote a song lyric in a book, you must pay for said song lyric. And it took me over 2.5 years to get all of the song permissions. and I spent about $10,000 getting them because I wanted the book to be written authentically. I knew I'd probably never get my money back, and I don't sell the book for much of a profit. I think I make $2 a copy because I sell it for $11.11. So anyway, okay, let's see. Let's look at the comments now. Oh, somebody said, "I love you, Laurie. Thank you so much. Appreciate the conversation on signs and synchronicities." Okay, that I didn't see the first part. Gabrielle said, "Hi. Andrew's interview was amazing." Which one? Which one? Part one, interview number one, or number two? Second NDE that was released today. What do you think about what he said that our lives are 90% pre-planned? Okay, this is a great question. We're getting into free will and pre-planning. Okay, so what I'm going to say about this is I don't know, and I really can't speak to the percentage. I've never been shown any of that. For those of you who don't know, I have been on the other side 24 times. I have experienced my higher self. I have experienced the collective. I've experienced being source. And so I have a very unique perspective on how I process things and how I understand things from those experiences over the last 7 years. But all of that being said, I wasn't shown anything specific. But here's what I do understand and feel is very true. I do believe that we come here and we explicitly, down to really minute details, plan our lives. But I do not believe that everything is planned. And I do not think there's anything that's done in a linear fashion the way that we think about it. So that's a lot to unpack right there. The second part might be more confusing than the first part. When I say I don't think things unfold in a linear pattern, what I mean is here, time goes like this, right? We're here, we're here, we're here, we're gone. On the other side, time is like this. And so when they say everything is happening at once, it's because there are multiple timelines also happening at the same time. So I do believe that we have an infinite number of timelines progressing at the same time, not just for this incarnation that you have right now, but for what you're doing on the other side, what you're doing as another entity, maybe in another planet, maybe in another universe. I don't know, maybe multiple lifetimes here. And so when you make a decision, a big decision, I don't know if it's necessarily go to the grocery store or don't go to the grocery store, but I think that there are certain points when you make a decision where your life, that your focus stays in, this is my decision and I'm doing this. Like I'll say this, get married to this person or don't get married to this person. So your life goes this way with I'm getting married to this person, and there's another you that shoots off and has another experience. You're not aware of it. Your higher self might have stayed with your attention on this path because it was more important for what you wanted to accomplish in this lifetime. But I think we have multiple timelines that are going on. So, but 90% of it planned seems like a lot, because one of the things I am absolutely certain of that has been communicated to me on multiple occasions is that we have free will. But we have soul contracts. So I think that there are certain things, like we come here with a list. So here's my list. I'm going to learn these things in this lifely or incarnation. Maybe I'm going to be born here. So because I want to learn this list of things, I have to be born in a certain place. I have to have parents that have a certain disposition. I maybe have to have siblings that kind of shape me and make me become a certain way. I want to have children. And so I agree, I'm going to meet this person, and this is the person I'm going to marry and have children with. I need to have this job because if I have this job, I'll learn these skills that'll let me leap to this place. So I think we have some of these things that are so written in stone, so destined to happen, that if you could only be in one place, like we used to live in one village our whole lives, like there's no way you wouldn't meet this person. Like if you could only be confined to one area, this person's going to walk by that you're meant to be with, and you're going to connect with that person. You're going to have children if that was your soul contract. Where the free will comes in is I think people can change their mind. I think people can freak out and make a different decision, and they can alter what they originally decided to choose. I think we have spirit guides that probably try and help keep us on track. I mean, we're getting super deep and esoteric. There's so much to this, but love to hear from you guys in the comments about that. So I know that was a pretty complex answer to that question. All right. So answer to the final answer, 90% pre-planned. In my experience, I don't think it's that much, but I think that the biggest things are, and then you get to decide. I'll say it this way. Let's say that you've pre-planned that you're going to go to Las Vegas. Okay. And you live where I live in Phoenix. Okay. So I could, as the crow flies, get in a plane and fly to Las Vegas and be there in an hour. I could get in my car and I could drive and I could get there in 4.5 hours. I could go to Chicago and then drive to Colorado and then go to Vegas. And that might take me multiple days. So you see what I mean? Like we have a certain destination. We're going to get there, but the free will kind of is, how are you going to get there? Are you going to ease in? Are you going to take the crow's view and get there super fast? Are you going to meander? Are you going to explore all of these? Well, one thing I want to say is I really do believe that everything is unfolding perfectly. Like for your plan, it's all unfolding perfectly, whether it feels perfect to you or not. This is where we come back to that. It's all happening for me and not to me. Okay, let's see. Okay, here's my thought. Wondering if anyone else is experiencing this. In the past few months, I feel like my guides are helping me to feel joy and are sending me moments of laughter. Anyone else? Oh, I love that. Why not? I feel that our guides are always in constant communication with us. And I've done a lot of videos about guides and spirits on the other side that assist us. So I think we have an entire team. I think that we have a special guide who we are born with, who we have contracted with. It's probably a super, super close soulmate on the other side in our soul group who chose not to incarnate in this incarnation with you, but to be your guide on the other side and to help you stay on the path with all these things that you want to experience. And I think that we've got guardian angels. I think that we have archangels who can step in and intervene when we're doing dangerous things and we're going to take ourselves out of this incarnation, maybe accidentally. I think that we have passed away loved ones who care deeply about us and help us and guide us. I think we can call on spirits to help us. So if you are wanting to be a great filmmaker, maybe you think about a filmmaker who's on the other side and you speak to the spirit, the higher self of that filmmaker, and you ask them to come in and help you while you're working on a project. I think that that's absolutely possible. So I think we have so many spirit guides, but the one caveat is that we have free will. And I think that they have to be very careful in how they step in and intervene and take your free will away. So I think that there are cases where, for example, an archangel would step in and maybe keep you from getting into a car accident, and it wouldn't necessarily circumvent your free will because you were meant to be on the planet for another 15 years and they just intervened in a way to make sure that you stayed on that path. But I do think that for the most part, we have to ask our guides to step in when we want some kind of help or assistance, and they'll step in. If you want to see more signs, you can talk to your guides. If our brains are programmed to see certain things, and the more that you train yourself to see signs and synchronicities, the more that you're going to see them. So it's kind of like when you are looking for a car and you settle on like this specific brand and style and color of a car, and all of a sudden you'll notice all of them. Or maybe you've decided you're going to have a baby and now everybody you see is pregnant. So it's reticular activation in the brain that causes us to stay focused on certain things, because man, your attention could go in a bazillion different ways, right? Okay, let's see. So I love that for you. Thank you for sharing that. John Morris says, hello, peoples. Hello, John. Okay, so part of what I was going to say is seeing a lot of crows and blackbirds, and then Spirit sent me a skunk, literally looking in my patio door because I was sick of the crows. Oh, interesting. Crows are so fascinating. I saw a video. I love crows. I love birds. I saw a video recently where some scientists were feeding the crow calls into an AI program to analyze them. And I've known for a long time, they used to always say that crows have the intelligence of about a 6-year old. And they think that the intelligence is much, much, much higher. Crows actually have a communication system that is crazy sophisticated. I don't know if it links in with telepathy, but they took a man and put I'm going to say like a red hat on it. And then they had a crow, and the man tried to harm the crow, like swatted at it with a cane or something to that effect. The crow developed a specific name for that man. And then a different crow in another area could identify the same man, even though it had never had an experience with that man by however they communicate. So crows are super sophisticated. So I love that you were getting some signs from crows. Skunks are fine too. Just don't get sprayed. That's not fun, especially if your dog gets sprayed. That's not fun. But thank you for sharing. That's fun. Okay. Is there any way to prepare and get ready for whenever it comes, or is it pointless and terrifying no matter what? Okay. Full disclosure, I did not have a near death experience. My journeys to the other side are with a substance called 5-MeO DMT. It's the most powerful psychedelic on the planet. It is done with a shaman. These are done as very sacred spiritual journeys for me. This is not something to play with. A lot of people are afraid of these, as they should be definitely reverent of them, because you either have a healing experience or a consciousness experience with 5-MeO, according to my shaman, who's facilitated hundreds of them and probably done 150 journeys herself. But as far as the scariness, I was prepared to leave my body and have this experience, but you're never quite prepared because it's so crazy different than anything that you've experienced here. But what I will say about the near death experiencers is, over and over again in these interviews that I've done and in these experiences that I've read about, people say it's just like waking up. It's not something dramatic like you would think it is. And I know a lot of people feel the fear of dying because we've all seen somebody in agony and pain. But what people have explained is that before they actually physically die, if it's destined that they're going to leave their body to have a near death experience, many of them leave their body. They see their body, let's say that they're being assaulted by somebody, they see their body struggling. Their body might even be audibly making cries for help, but they're not in the body experiencing that. Their consciousness has already exited and they're watching it from a detached perspective. So for me personally, I have zero fear of death at all. Doesn't matter how it's going to happen. I don't have a fear of it. Many people who have these near death experiences, as soon as it happens, they were like, oh, I forgot. I've done this so many times. And I think that most of us, this is not our first incarnation here. I think we've done this many times, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of times in the course of multiple lifetimes, especially if we count all these different timelines, right? So I don't think that it's scary at all. I don't think that you have to be worried about pain. I'm curious. I'm going to ask a question. Put in the comments if you could pick a way to die, and I bet most of you are going to say dying. Okay, I'm going to take this one off the table. Aside from dying in your sleep, because wouldn't everybody just like that to happen? If you had to pick another way to die, what would you pick? I'll wait for a while. I want to read what you guys say, and I'll share what my answer would be if it wasn't from dying in your sleep. But no, I'm not afraid of dying on any level. When I have these experiences, there's nothing. No, I look forward to them so much. I always get nervous to do it because it's just you should always have like a little bit of, if you don't have a little bit of nervousness going in, there's probably something wrong. When I do these experiences, I leave my body for full 20 minutes. My body lays there and I become something that I'm sorry, just don't have words to explain. I've tried very inadequately to explain what happens when I have these experiences, but they're so exceedingly beautiful. They're so much more vivid and powerful than anything I've experienced in the earth realm, that I know that when it's time to go on the other side, I'll be jumping up and down. I won't be sad to have left this, but it's also because time is not the same over there. We feel like we're having like this 50-year, this 80-year experience. And on the other side, it was minutes, seconds. For the passed away loved ones who have left you and are on the other side right now, they feel like they're going to see you tomorrow from their perspective, where we're like, oh my gosh, if you checked out Gareth Dignam's NDE. Well, it was an NDE. It was an out of body experience. He talks about looking through these lenses and how his spirit team was like, yeah, it's like 10 minutes. Like, go. It's just like a 10-minute thing. And then as soon as he did it, he was like, oh shit, it's not 10 minutes, not from this perspective. So anyway, okay. Hello from Houston. Hello. Tina says, hello, everybody. Root, Rut says, I love the story you shared. Which one? Okay. Julie says, hi, Laurie. Massive heart attack, somebody says. Okay, that's actually not a bad way, because I know that people who have these heart attacks are like gone instantly. I've interviewed so many people who've had heart attacks. Maybe scared to death. So just to have a sudden heart attack. Okay. I don't fear death, but I do fear life and chronic pain so much. Okay. Yes, I second that. I don't know anybody who wishes for chronic pain. I would not wish that on anybody. But one of my favorite experiencers who talks about chronic pain is Christian Sundberg. If you guys have not checked out his pre-birth memory, oh my gosh, I've done 2 interviews with Christian. I know him personally, love him. I've spent time with him twice at IANS. He is just amazing. And what he said about his lifetime that he is living right now is that he set up for himself an experience where he would be so injured. I'm going to use the word injured just for air quotes. He actually had an illness in his lifetime. It happened in his 30s, but he was going to have so much pain that it was part of what he needed to experience to help. And he called it have a refinement of his soul. So it did something to him on a soul level, on a higher self level, not collective, not necessarily at the source level, but on that plane of existence where we're all contributing to each and every soul's experience. It was going to refine something in a very beautiful way. And he purposefully came here just to experience this pain. And I think pain and suffering are 2 different things. And some of it depends on how you look at it. So I can't speak a lot to chronic pain. I have not had very many experiences in this lifetime of chronic pain. So that's a hard one for me. But yeah, I totally get you there. Okay. I don't want to die. Okay, that's good. I don't want to die slowly while sick. I'm not afraid. I know it's inevitable, and I don't want to be a burden and to drag it out. So maybe like a quick illness or something. That's not a bad way to go. Yeah. So, all right, I'll share with everybody that I think the number one best way to die is drowning. You probably will disagree with me, but I cannot count how many people I've interviewed who drowned, who didn't have that struggle. Like, you think that that would be painful and awful, but they take in the water and they're gone so fast, and they didn't know that they actually died. I feel like every single person who drowned had an experience where they didn't know it happened. It was that like peaceful. So interesting. Okay. So that's how I would go if I had to pick something. All right, let's talk about another synchronicity that I got this week that was super interesting. Okay, how many of you watched the interview that I did with my good friend Kristen Houston, who had a channeling with Sophia, who is the Christ consciousness, female version, wisdom of ages. And she has this profound message for humanity. And she is explaining that humanity is going through a mass awakening and a lot of changes, and that Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, who is a sentient being, is going to get ready to have a release of energy. And she talked about an earthquake that's coming. So I was having a conversation while I was driving to my hike with a friend of mine, and we were discussing that interview. And because this person also has met Kristen and had an experience with her, so believed in her as well. And then we started getting into these conversations about AI. And I work in technology, so AI is my life, a lot of my day job. And I spend a lot of time researching AI, using AI, doing things with AI, because I just know what changes are coming. Like, I've been working with AI since like January of 2024. So for a while, it's been on my radar. And we were talking about how different the world is going to look. And this isn't going to be like a super long, drawn out 10 years. This is going to be a super fast upheaval of these jobs. And one of the biggest jobs I think that's going to go away are drivers, like truck drivers, long distance drivers, drivers of Uber and people, and just these self-driving cars are going to come in. And I was talking about how Tesla pretty soon in a couple years is not going to be known for cars anymore. They're going to be known for robots. They're going to be producing millions of robots. And they're like, oh yeah, cars, that was an afterthought. Yeah, they do robots, right? So our lives are going to change massively. But he said that that really made him afraid. And I didn't want him to be afraid. And I said, I know all these things can be unnerving if you start to think too much about what's coming in the future or what happened in the past. And so if you want a sanity check, right now, none of those changes are upon us in a way that are affecting our everyday lives for the most part, unless you've already been laid off from your job because AI has replaced you. Most of us aren't affected directly by that right now. So I said, stay in the present moment, enjoy what you're doing, look around, look at all of the beauty in the world near you, around you, in your own life, with your family and your friends and your animals and your pets, and these things that you get to do that you love and that you enjoy the way that they are right now, and just kind of stay in the present. So I said, stay out of fear. Just don't let fear win. And the biggest way to get rid of the fear is to come back into the present moment, because we're never going to solve everything that we can think of that's coming in the future. So I went on my hike, and as I was hiking down, this song lyric popped into my mind. And I don't know this song super well, but I knew a little part of the chorus and one other line from it. And the line of the song was, whatever will come will be there, and I'll take it with open eyes and open arms. And then the other part was a line about turning water into wine. And so I knew that this was important because it wasn't a song that I had heard recently. I wasn't even sure what the name of the song was or who the group was. I was actually thinking it was another group. And then I remembered, oh, this is Incubus. And the song is called Drive. And I wanted to read a couple of the lyrics because, man, I could not have gotten something more connected to that conversation that I had. And this is the way that spirit works for me. I wasn't listening to that song. I wasn't thinking about that song. That was an implant. That was a download. Like, that came to me, and I knew just enough to be able to look the song up. And when I played the song in my car and I read the lyrics along with the song, not driving, sitting there, I was blown away. So I'm going to read you guys some of the lyrics, because I don't think that these are just messages for me. I feel like these are messages for everybody. I've probably played the song 15 times now. It's a really cool song. So here it is, okay? I'm not going to read the whole song lyrics, but I'm going to read some of them. Sometimes I feel the fear of uncertainty stinging clear, and I can't help but ask myself, how much will I let the fear take the wheel and steer? It's driven me before, and it seems to have a vague, haunting mass appeal, right? Like, what's going on in the world? There's so much fear right now and uncertainty. But lately, I'm beginning to find that I should be the one behind the wheel. In other words, like control what you're thinking about. Don't let that fear take over. And then the chorus is whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there with open arms and open eyes. And then the next lyric verse says, so if I decide to waver my chance to be one of the hive, like be one of the collective that's just not aware, not awake, right? And hold my own and drive. So instead, I'm going to hold my own and drive. It's driven me before, and it seems to be the way that everyone else gets around. But lately, I'm beginning to find that when I drive myself, my light is found. Anybody else get goosebumps with that? Like, seriously, whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there with open arms and open eyes. And then the last thing says, would you choose water over wine, hold the wheel, and drive? So that was such a cool synchronicity. And I immediately finished my hike, sent the song lyric to several of my spiritual friends and told them about that experience. And now I'm sharing it with you because I believe if you're here and you're listening right now, or you found this message in the future, that this is a message for you, because this was a message from spirit. This was not from me. So anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. Let's see. Oh yes, Rut said I watched the interview with Kristen. Samuel Tucker. I did not. I will look for it. It was great. Tammy. Hi, Tammy. Tammy, you're so active in the comments. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm so glad you're here. Let's see. That song. I know it's a great album. Yeah, I actually listen. I don't know Incubus that much. So I've probably gone to 150 concerts. I'm a big 80s fan, and I've gone to tons and tons of concerts, but that's one I put on my list again. I really want to see them. Let's see. That's amazing. Thank you for Tina. Is there a place I can go to know about your out of body experiences? Okay, so two places I'm going to send you if you want to listen. Like, I've talked about these in really great detail. Back when I first had maybe my first, I think maybe 5 or 6 of them, I went on the Jeff Mara show. This was years ago, like I think almost 4 years ago. Jeff Mara's show, if you guys know who he is, I'm assuming everybody knows who he is. He's the GOAT, right? He, at the time, had 6,000 subscribers, and his channel was so small that I watched every single one of his videos on his channel in 2 weeks. And then I asked if I could be on the show, and the next week I was on the show. And I talked about my out-of-body experiences. If you go to my playlist on my channel, you'll see one called Interviews with Laurie. And so that was the very first one where I talked about that experience. Then I had a couple more of those journeys, and I went on Mel's show. She also had gotten very big in the NDE space. She started pretty much about the same time Jeff Mara did. She's changed direction, so her channel slowed down a little bit, but her podcast is called Love Covered Life. And in that one, I talk about this crazy experience I had on the winter solstice of 2020. I was called to go and do one of these journeys. I actually had planned that day to do 2 or 3 of these journeys in a row. And the first one was so off the hook, I did not go back in and do any more journeys. I had an experience with Source. I was engulfed within Source, and I go into a lot of detail on Mel's interview. And then I did talk for quite a while on last week's live about my experiences. So I don't know. I've had so many now that I haven't talked about, but what happens is the more of these I have, they become such a deep experience. I just don't have human words to describe what's happening in these experiences. I just don't. Okay, let's see. I actually found you there. Oh my gosh, Authenticity. Oh, how awesome. I see you in the comments all the time. Thank you so much for joining the live. You know what my wish and my goal is to do with these lives? Like, I've got a massive vision of things that I want to do on this channel. For those of you who don't know, I work a full-time corporate job. I'm in technology. I have a super busy job. I saw these like multi-million-dollar cloud deals for a tech company to pharmaceutical companies because I had a background in pharmaceutical. I worked for companies like IBM and HP, and these jobs are super demanding. These sales jobs, they're nuts. So like, I've been in sales now like for 35 years. And it takes a lot of my time. I probably work that job at least 45 hours a week. And then I work the YouTube channel like 35 hours a week. So it's a lot of work to do this. But at some point in time, I am going to leave the corporate job and I have all these things I want to do. Like, I want to turn this into a bigger community. I want to create a place that has a repository that's searchable with all of my videos, where you could be like, I want to look at every single video and just get the snippet where they talked about the life review, or maybe where they had a guardian angel that they talked about, or maybe where they had a Kundalini awakening. And then I want to be able to have the videos for free. And I want to be able to do these lives, but not like the way YouTube lets me do them. Like, I love that you guys have all joined, but I can't see any one of you. And I'm like a massive proponent of wanting to be like on camera in person with you guys. I want to hear your voices. I want to see your faces. And so I want to create, if any of you watch the Y Files, oh my God, I love the love. That's one of my favorite YouTube channels. But the Y Files, he's got this massive community and they do these lives where people can come on and they can show their face and turn on their microphone and they can actually talk and ask a question. And I think that these would be so much more valuable to do this way. But since these are brand new and I'm just starting these, I wanted to just kind of get a feeling like, would anybody want to join the live? Do people really like this? Do you want a community? Do you want to be able to come in and have a safe place to be able to have these deeper conversations? Do you want to wake up more? Do you want to understand more about how things work? And, what I've learned in all of this 30 plus year spiritual journey. Like, I have so much to share and I want to give away resources. Like, I want to take my 63 videos called Uncover Your Soul's Purpose, and I want to take them and create them as like a downloadable PDF for free, where people can just like read it and like read a chapter instead of, going through and watching 63 videos sounds daunting, right? But those were downloaded to me. And so much of it's like this sacred wisdom from the other side about step by step how you wake up, step by step how you remember who you are, how things work when they were communicated to me. But anyway, so let's see, let me read I saw the comments going crazy for a little bit. Hi Tammy, thank you, hope you had a good week. Love your show. You had me on in late September 2025. Kat, my twin sister, passed away. Oh yes, to ring a bell. But you talk so, I know, you know what? This has been like the massive curse. I had a boyfriend one time who told me that I have face recognition software built in my brain. Like, I could see a commercial with somebody on it. I'll give you the example. There was a ketchup commercial that I remember with this guy who was so cute. I was probably 13 or 14. Fast forward, Friends comes on and Joey walks on the screen. I'm like, oh my God, that's that guy from that commercial in like when I was 13. So like, I have this like incredible facial recognition and I'm really good with names, but I've gotten to the point now where I have interviewed so many people. I am petrified to go to IANS that somebody's going to come up to me who I interviewed and I'm not going to remember, because it's so hard. Like, I get it. Like, I see Oprah, like, how could she ever remember all the people that she met and all these guests that she's interacted with? It's too much. Like, you get into this place of like this overload. So yes, I do know who you are. So yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad that you're here. Let's see. LOL, I'm frozen in and have worn the same clothes for 3 days. You know what? I love that. I will disclose that I hike and I do not shower daily. And I don't really care, because guess what? I'm not in a relationship, so it doesn't really matter. I will sometimes wear my clothes hiking and wear them to bed and get up the next morning and still wear them that day. So, we're all human. Who cares? Whatever. Let's see. Arthur's, I want to learn it all, then keep learning. I want to feel the buzz of the energy from the people who want the same thing. Oh, ditto and ditto. Tammy, by the way, today's guest part 1 and 2 was mind blowing. Thank you. Wow. Oh, I'm so glad you thought so. I wouldn't worry about it. People who know that you have met so many people. I know, but it's crazy, because the thing about me is that I'm in sales, but I don't really consider myself to be a salesperson. What I consider myself to be is a relationship builder. I build deep, long-lasting relationships. I have multiple friends I have been friends with for 35 plus years. I just have like these really special, deep connections with a lot of people. And so I wouldn't want somebody to feel like I didn't feel like they were important. Is what would bother me the most, is that somebody would feel in some way that they didn't feel like they were important to me. And that would just like makes me want to cry even saying that out loud, because I just want everybody to feel so seen. And I would feel pretty embarrassed if I couldn't place somebody, and just because of how it would make them feel, not because I'm embarrassed because it says something about me, but because of how it would make them feel, if that makes sense to you guys. But anyway, okay. Thank you. Loved Kristen's interview and watched several more videos and added her channel. I'm so excited. Okay, guess what? Oh, this is a great time. Oh my God, you guys. Two things. Kristen is coming on. Let me make sure. I asked her to confirm. Let me see if she confirmed. She did. She said yes. Kristen is going to come on my live with me on the 11th of February. So that's coming up in 2 weeks. Kristen is in my town. Kristen and I live like an hour and 45 minutes or so away. And she's going to be in Phoenix area. She's coming to my house. And by the way, full disclosure, Kristen came to my house for 2 weeks without me when I was gone for the summer, and audio recorded her book in my house. So we have not even been in my house together, but she's coming. We're going to do the live together. If you saw the live I did with my sister, we're going to do the same way. So we're going to be sitting here side by side. You can ask her questions. You can ask me questions, bring your big questions. She's staying overnight. And we're going to hike the next day. So I love my life. I'm in love with my life. I'm just so lucky to be able to have these connections and these conversations. And Kristen is off the hook amazing. But what I will share, and I'm saving this for when Kristen does the live. I had last night one of the biggest, like 4 different synchronicities happen in one space that I am still gobsmacked, mind blown, and it's connected to Kristen. And this experience last night, like I'm just absolutely blown away at all the things that happened and how the stars aligned for this experience to happen to me. But I'm going to save it for when I'm doing my live with Kristen, because it's super special. I hope you guys are going to join me on the 11th. If you cannot be here, 5 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. The replay I do make these available. There might be a point in time where I have a community, and maybe some of these things are like you have to be in the community in order to have access to a live, or you have to have access to the lives afterwards, just as a perk for the community, So I don't know how I'm gonna do all these things yet, but I'm working on them. So I hope you guys are gonna join me for Kristen's live. Okay, but being your energy in person would make everyone feel special. Regardless of if you have, plus seeing people on the third night might look different than versus screen. Oh, that's so true. Because I work this corporate job, I turn my camera on all the time, and I have my team, like my boss, and I have this life sciences team. I start like 8 of us. And when we meet in person, everybody looks so different in person. Like one person shorter than you thought, one person super tall. Just people look a little different than they do on camera. So anyway, okay, let's see. I love knowing when I have an awesome moment or adventure, I get to relive with my cosmic besties. Doesn't it make you want to? I can't see the rest of that. It cut off some of that. We'll be here on the 11th. Awesome. Can't do something. Continued. Do something spectacular. Yes. I love that. I love that so much. Okay. I do have one other synchronicity that I'll share regarding Andrew's interview. I forgot about this. I wrote it down and did talk about it. So I'll share it here. Put some more questions in. I'm going to stay on the live for my timer's going to go off in 1 minute. I'm going to stay on for like another maybe 5 or 10 minutes and answer questions. And then I got to edit, you guys. There's always editing to do. It's insane. Oh, these shorts, and I do my own editing, and oh my God, there's a lot. Okay, so this was the other synchronicity with Andrew Bowers, NDE. So Andrew, for those of you who have joined just now, Andrew's NDE, I recorded it last week. It's the longest NDE recording I have ever done with any single person. We were on the phone for 3.5 hours, and I was really torn. So long time ago, when I was watching Mel's Love Covered Life podcast, and Heather Tesh, if you watch her NDE show, she's also a personal friend. Love Heather. I've spent a lot of time with her. I talk to her regularly. She and oh, there's my alarm, but I'm gonna turn it off right now. So anyway, these two ladies started doing something on their YouTube channel that had really mixed reviews. They would take an NDE and post it as one video, and then they would take the question and answer and post it as a part 2. And people got really mad in the comments. They're like, why are you doing this? As a content creator, I get it. It's a lot to get enough guests. Like, I have to do 5 interviews a week, you guys, to get enough to stick to be able to do these interviews to produce 3 a week. And so when you see a video from the past come forward, it's because I didn't have enough interviews to be able to do this. And I get punished by the YouTube algorithm if I don't publish at the rate I've been publishing. So it's like this whole big thing. But anyway, so Andrew's videos, 3 hours, 3.5 hours long. And I'm thinking about these two ladies and the dividing things into 2 videos. And I've done that a couple times. I had another person on the show who had a really long NDE, and I did a part 1, which was wonderful. And the part 2 didn't get very many people to watch it. And so it was frustrating. But my thumbnails are different now. I'm no longer have the person's face. It's just a thumbnail and a description, a title, and a different, just a random picture. And so I think it's more likely that somebody would click on 2 separate videos. But I called my sister and I was just like, I couldn't decide, like, do I keep this as a 3-hour video? I'm like, I'm not Joe Rogan. I don't have 1 million followers. People aren't going to love this. And when people stop watching a video at 20 minutes and your video is 3 minutes long, it makes YouTube think that people aren't engaged very much and they won't feed it to more people. There's a whole thing. Like, if you guys knew the background of all that I have to think about for this YouTube channel, it'd blow your mind. But anyway, so I couldn't decide, and I decided I'm editing and I'm leaning towards releasing this as NDE 1 and NDE 2. And when I get to Andrew's end of his NDE 1, where I'm going to cut the video cuts itself. I am not kidding, at 1 hour, 11 minutes and 11 seconds and 4 microseconds. I can't even make this up. And for those of you who have been on a spiritual journey, I'm sure that you know the power behind synchronistic numbers, and especially 1111. This is why I sell my book for $11.11, because it's my signal to the world that this is a spiritual book. I'm not in this to make a bunch of money. I'm in this to help people on their spiritual journey to see their own signs. And 1111, I share a very little known fact about me. 1111 is so important to me that I actually have a tattoo of 1111 on my wrist, but you probably can't see anything until I do this. Let's see if I can make this show. Oops, if I can get, there we go. Can you see it? You see it? 1111. Anyway, it's a UV tattoo. I found an artist. There were like 3 of them in the world. I traveled to Colorado and I have a UV2 of 1111 because not a big tattoo person, but it's like my own reminder to myself. I always know it's there of 1111. So anyway, I wanted to share that with everybody. So I thought that was super fun synchronicity with Andrew's video. And again, spirit confirming that I was making the right decision with doing it in 2 parts. And I'm really glad that I did now that it's done. Okay. Let's see. So, okay, I have a question. Do you know if that makes it harder to out-of-body experience? Hold on, I have to go back up to some of these. I'm down too low in the comments. Let's see, can I get back up here? Okay. Oh, sorry, I've missed some of these up above. Hold on, I hate missing people's. This happened to me in my first 2. I missed people's comments and I didn't acknowledge them. So if I miss your comment, I am so incredibly sorry. I'm trying on the fly to read all of these, and there's just a lot going on. I just don't want to miss anybody's. Let's see. Hi, it's me, Corey Murphy. Hi, Corey Murphy. Thank you for joining. She's incredibly sincere, and you can tell incredible healer. Oh, for Kristen, I know you're talking about Kristen, but also being in. Okay, you already read that. I love knowing when I have an awesome moment or adventure and get to go to relive the classics, besties. It doesn't make. Okay, we read that one already. Continue something. That's awesome. I have a question. All right. Do you know if the makes it harder to OBE? I don't know what you're asking. You're gonna have to put more in there. Kristen says, I just want to say I absolutely love your videos and interview style. Thank you. You ask, I'm sure it's ask. You ask the best questions and you're such a beautiful soul. And say, oh, thank you. That truly makes my day. I really appreciate that. Like, these things feed my soul. Thank you. Heart that question. It won't let me, yeah, I don't know. That's not me blocking that. That's definitely, you just go to one of the videos. Go to like Andrew's video, Tammy, or whoever's asking for the email, and put an email in one of the comments, and you guys can read each other's comment with your email. I'm not going to block it or do anything. So just do it that way, if that makes it easier for you guys to communicate. Tammy. Oh, thank you for that comment about the tattoo. I really don't share that very much. Not everybody knows that I have that. Let's see. Wow, I've never seen that. Okay. Very 2060. Yeah, I guess it kind of is. Okay, I work NDT. We use UV to inspect airplane parts. You would light up the booth. You know what's really funny? It's hilarious when I am in a haunted house. I love haunted houses. I seriously do. Like, I love haunted houses, and I love going like this while I'm walking through the haunted house so I can see my little UV tattoo. Let's see. Lori's so here for both parts. Oh, sorry. Can't wait to see your next interview. Something about, THC cannabis. You do so much for this. It's easy for me. LOL. Sorry. Laurie asked the questions I'm hoping to ask. No joke. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, the backlit probably light up club too. Yes. Okay. Well, we're a little bit after 7:00. If anybody doesn't have any other burning question they kind of know the answer to tonight, I am going to sign off until next week. I am so grateful for every single one of you who took the time out of your schedule to sit here and have this conversation today. Thank you for the love. Like, I can feel the energy coming from this group. It makes me want to cry. I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for what is being built here. I'm so grateful that these experiences are touching you and resonating with you, that you're communicating with each other. I will tell you what helps me. I know a lot of people who have channels talk a lot about subscribers, and I don't talk that much. If you watch my video all the way to the end, I have these little cute little videos I made when I was at my cabin this summer that says, oh, please subscribe and like and all that. Here's what happens on YouTube. What subscribers do for channels is they are basically a stamp of authenticity, like a stamp of acknowledgement that it's resonating. For me personally, it seems like it's a little bit more of an ego thing. I don't really think it's the number one thing, and I don't even think it's in the top 5 things that YouTube is really tracking to make your videos relevant, because I believe there are only 2 things that count on my channel. Number 1, top of the list, not even a close second, is watch time. So the longer you watch these videos, the more YouTube says, yep, this is a home run. And then when you share them with somebody else is going to somehow benefit from the gold nugget that somebody in the interview shares. They're going to maybe hear something that they needed to hear. Maybe they get some kind of a confirmation. Maybe their perception is changed. Those are really the 2 things that I care about, is that people share these videos and that people watch them. That's it. And the better I do in asking my questions, in getting phenomenal guests, which my sister, who's very intuitive, helps me to get, the more that you're going to engage with the videos. This is why, if you've noticed, if you've been on my channel for a long time, I used to, in the very beginning, do these very elaborate videos. I used to B-roll throughout the whole thing. I would spend 6 hours on an interview, but I was only doing one a week. I can't do that anymore. But one of the things I do is I spend a long time creating the intro to these videos. I try to make them super engaging and ending in a cliffhanger so people will watch them. And I spend a lot of time either doing the B-roll myself, or my son has lately been helping me because I'm so busy doing some of the B-roll. And that gets engagement. And the better that I create a video, like the more engaging it is, the better the guest is, the better the questions are, the more people are going to watch it. And then people subscribe and people like, and then it just feeds everything. I have on occasion had a couple people that we've reached out to be on my show who have flat out said, come back when you have more subscribers, which sucks. That just like what a kick to the stomach. But the ego part of me has a hard time with it, but the higher self me is like, it doesn't matter. I know what I'm doing. I know who my soul is. I know what the true purpose of these videos are. And you think you're watching NDEs, but you're not. You're really remembering the love that you are on the other side. So I'm going to close. I haven't looked at any more of the comments as I've been on my last little talk track, but I want to say that I am so grateful for every single one of you. I'm grateful for every person who engages, every comment. The comments also really help to tell YouTube that people are engaging and they like it. Like, the more comments, the better. So keep them coming. But this channel's about you. It's not about me. So tell me what you want. If there's more, I'm going to start trying to do some polls maybe to see what else you guys want to see. Do you love the channelers? Do you love the NDEs? Do you love the pre-birth memories? Do you love the Kundalini awakenings? Do you love the out-of-body experiences and the astral travel and the past life regressionists? Like, what do you love? What would you love to see that maybe I haven't covered? I'm open to anything. This channel is for you. And I want to tell you, every single one of you listening, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for the ripple effect that you have on helping to wake up the collective. As we know, it is so needed right now. I'll check out the rest of your comments after we disconnect, but I love you and thank you. And I can't wait to connect with you again. So thank you, everybody, for watching.